I just figured out too, man, when I'll be arguing with my wife, because it takes me so long to make a point. Because, like, it was so hard. Like, I felt like, okay, you're right. Two different cultures. You know what I mean? I'm from the Caribbean. You're from northern New York. At least I could make it through with, if I was convincing somebody from Brooklyn, I will have a higher probability convincing that person than somebody from northern New York. You know what I mean? Because Brooklyn is like a melting pot. I mean, you may not be America. You may not be West Indian, but your parents might be West Indian, or your parents' parents. So somewhere it's trickled down, or your neighbor's parents, or something. And I mean, everybody is like separated by 6 degrees in New York City. You know what I mean? In upstate New York, everybody's separated by 90 degrees. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, separation of 6 degrees. I think I said that right. Well, with my wife and stuff, man, at times it took me so long to make a point that and she would say, hurry up, make your point. And by the time I forget what I was making, and I get frustrated, I'm like, all right, you know what? It's waste of time convincing you and stuff, man. Let me use some anger. You know what I mean? Let me use the reverse psychology. Let me, because I said like psychology is the knowing the expectation and trying to achieve it. So whether you be using acting, whether you do it the logical way, but regardless of what, you gotta use logic. Okay, psychologic. You know, I like that too. See, that's why I'm making these videos, man. Okay, so he's using the psyche, the mind, logic, and trying to convince. You know what I mean? The other person. You know what I mean? So like you got they using mind control on you, and you trying to use mind control on them. Another day, it's who keeps winning. You know what I mean? Alright, so I was frustrated. I was like, yo, I can't convince my wife. At the end of the day, I can't convince her. I can't convince her. I can't get convince her. You know what I mean? But if I could at least convince her that sorry, I can't convince her to have sex. So at least if I could convince her that everything is together, and I get my happiness, I get my little fix on the side. You know what I mean? At that point, it was fine. You know, I try everything. I would even in a face curse out. I'm like, I would fucking cheat on you. You know what I mean? And curse and stuff, man. So I think it's probably time to get divorced. And I'm seeing it over my because I'm seeing it because like I'm scared. I'm really scared of divorce. You know what I mean? It's like my parents went through it. Like I hate it. You know what I mean? Nobody in the right mind, not even the the best Casanova in the world. You know what I'm saying? Um, who having sex 9 times a day and so on. You know what I mean? With 9 different women, and he know he have a whole bunch of women outside. I don't even think he would also want a divorce. You know what I mean? I'm by myself. I have nobody. You know what I mean? Like, if think about it for a second, right? If I had, and that's why I'm upset with myself, man. Because the reason why you keep somebody on the side is like when you divorce, you could go to that person. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's like you're gonna be attention with the greedy dog on the bone. I just never want to be that person. I never want to be like, I have one happy here, and I'm sitting outside looking. Cause the truth is, I was never happy here. You know what I'm saying? It was a temporary happy to get me through, and I was looking on the side for that permanent happiness. You know what I mean? But then being true, not to confuse anybody, when you getting pleasure, when you sacrificing your happiness by keeping other people happy, it takes away from you. But remember, you're still gonna get happiness because when you see that person smiling, like, yeah, man, I'm doing my job, man. You know what I mean? You know, and to the community too. Like, I keeping my house together. I keeping my house, I keeping everything together. That's a sense of happiness too. You know what I mean? Because like you are looking the image of everything together. You know what I'm saying? Um, then you could come and you could use the military logic, saying like false motivation creates real motivation. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're faking, you're exhausted, you don't want to run. You know what I mean? But like, you're faking that you're hyping stuff, everybody else already hyping you, and before you know it, they hype, you hype, everybody hype. It makes the run much endurable, enjoyable. You know what I mean? And that's real. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, um, short term, you find a short term patch, you could get a long term result. You know what I mean? They don't know what they was doing, man. They don't know what they was doing. You know what I'm saying? And the VA, I'm in and out of the VA using their marital counselors and stuff. And everybody sided my wife, saying like, I'm a sex addict and so on. I was like, no. You know what I mean? Like, my wife's not effing. You know, so at times, so I kind of wanted to throw a brick in the face of the VA counselors and stuff, man. Like, yo, you know what I mean? But at least everything's getting out there and stuff, man. I get time to be here with myself and reflect and so on. And it's time to divorce. You know what I mean?